Good evening, everyone. Welcome to ULTV Study Abroad 101. I'm Shefali Shrivastava, Marketing and Communication Manager at University level. Our session today is unique because students will be introduced to a global experience to enhance their knowledge and revolutionize their thinking so they become humanitarian leaders who bring their work to life. My curiosity is same as yours. Let's not dwell on it, but dive right into the conversation with our amazing speakers. We are joined by Neharika, Kataria, Student Recruitment Advisor, South Asia, University of Windsor, Canada. Hi, Neharika.
Hi, Shefali. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. We have our very own Saurabh Arora, founder at University Living. Hi, Saurabh.
Hi, Shefali. Hi, everyone.
Hi. And we have Tanya Walia from Silverfern, whose organization works toward empowering and guiding students to achieve their education and professional goals internationally. Hi, Tanya. Welcome.
Hi, Shefali. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And as I said, we'll not dwell more on the topic that what is their work. I'll directly dive into the conversation. So, Neharika, coming to you, what is this conference about?
MUN, as the name suggests, Shefali, it's the Model United Nations, which a lot of schools organize for their students. It is basically a simulation of an actual United Nations conference, where students are tasked with solving a lot of global issues. They do a lot of research. They are given their topics beforehand. They take on roles as delegates, speakers, and chairs, and they represent different nations. So we try and give them a feel of what a United Nations conference would look like.
Great. And this answer of yours, adds many questions to my head, but I'll come to those questions back on this. Now, there's one more question that I want to understand, that what value does it bring for the students and the delegates who are joining?
See, basically, if you hold such a conference at this level, we are making them think, we are making them gain a lot of confidence while representing these nations. We are also making them analyze things. We are helping them in solving certain problems, national problems, international problems. So it adds a lot of value and confidence building for the students, these young minds who are the future of tomorrow.
Right. So I have a couple of questions, but I just want to understand, is there an example that how this whole conference work? If you can just enlighten us a little bit, how does the whole conference work from a student point of view? When they join over there, when they come over there, then what happens next?
I think Tanya is a better person to answer this question since she's organizing it. I will leave it to Tanya to cater to this.
I was just going to say that if I may add to that. So, I mean, MUNs are pretty common these days. All the good schools are hosting MUNs to give their students the exposure of debating and just putting themselves out there, public speaking, and, to get all those skills. But what makes this particular conference special is that a couple of parties have come together, including us at Silverfern, University of Windsor, and St. John's High School, to establish a platform that offers internationalism as a conference, and to also, give the kids the exposure in terms of, like, it's a conference where there's a place for everyone. There's a place for a beginner who maybe has never done an MUN, wants to learn how MUNs work. And there's also a place for someone who's done like 20s and 50s of MUNs and wants to just, put across his skills, and maybe he's there to get the awards. So that is one main thing that I wanted to add. And in terms of your question on how an MUN works, it comes together as, first deciding on to the committees that are going to be a part of the conference. We close the committees, then kids are allotted portfolios. Portfolios are basically the countries that they represent in that particular committee. So there are committees where, it's more acceptable for beginners to join because they get an opportunity to learn. So for example, the United Nations General Assembly is usually a committee which sort of it's the biggest committee and it entertains everyone. But then there are committees where only kids who have a lot of experience are able to sort of show their skills. So we assemble the committees, the portfolios, then, you send out applications that, okay, this is happening, and the delegates can register. The form that the delegates have to fill to register, it's an extensive form where you have to talk about your prior experience, why do you want to be a part of the conference, and you just have to put across your willingness to be a part of that particular committee or portfolio. So that's how we start. Then once the delegates put in their application, because thankfully we've received a very overwhelming response for this year's conference. We've received a great number of applications, so you have to pick and choose, because there is a certain limit. You have to cap it, because the infrastructure of the school can only support a certain amount of kids for the conference. So we've capped it at 400, where we have 400 delegates attending this year's conference. And yes, I guess we're all set to host it from the 22nd to the 24th.
Great. Actually sounds like a great platform for students who want to achieve their educational and professional goals. And I'll definitely circle back to you about the capping system that you mentioned. But I know, Saurabh, you're running short on time, and I have just one question to ask from you, is that how and why University Living chose to be part of this event?
To be honest, it's not that I'm running out of time, but it's just that Monday morning, but we believe in this cause, right? So whatever it takes to support this cause, I always believe it's all priority. We all are busy, you always, it's your priority, right? You make time for that. So barring saying this, absolutely, I wish during my time, I'm not that old, but definitely during our times, we should have got exposure to such things, would have been much better for my personal grooming, my personal thought process, and exposure. But then, this is our way to give it back to society, and probably something which we miss, these young kids, which are, they're superpower, right? They, they know it all, right? But, they need a platform, right? So when Silverfern, when, say like, Windsor, Neharika, they've been supporting this cause. So definitely we should do a bit from our side. In fact, that's the reason, we launched this social scholarship, wherein, there are lots of scholarships, right? We have seen that everyone talks about academics, everyone talks about numbers, merit. Yes, definitely very important, right? But then what about the overall grooming, right? What about the overall exposure, right? We don't need only intelligent people in the world. We need emotionally strong, socially conscious people in the world, right? Otherwise, if everyone will get 100%, right, where are we heading, right? So these platforms, these exposure, imagine one of these will be representing India at UN, actually, right? So that's the intent, and that's where, this is our small way to to be part of these causes. And can't thanks Silverfern and Neharika, for making a part of such things. And yep, yes.
Great. And you mentioned it very well. Actually, I'm also not that old, but yeah, the kind of opportunities and the platforms which are available right now for all these young kids and new students who are coming into picture are great. There's a if word, of course. If we would have got it, then things might have been different. So yeah, thank you, Saurabh.
We are getting now, right? So we are young, right? And we are lifelong learners. So whatever we can learn.
Right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Neharika.
Saurabh, for so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Saurabh.
Thank you for joining us.
Great. Tanya, I come to you. As I mentioned earlier, you mentioned that you got a lot of inquiries and a lot of application from the student, but you have to cap it somewhere, which I understand, because there is a limited seat. Now, what is the eligibility criteria to get enrolled or get signed up as a delegate or a student in the conference?
Right. So in terms of the eligibility criteria, there's just an age limit that we've kept to keep it fair for the participating delegates. So it's 14 to 18, and the kids who are passing out of 12, the batch where the boards were delayed, they aren't allowed to participate. It's the current 12th till which were 9th to 12th is the students who can participate from all the schools. And there are usually two sorts of delegations that are acceptable in an MUN. One is an individual delegation, one is a school delegation. So in the school delegation, the school sends in an official team representing the school. And when you register as an individual, you're just, even if you are from that school, you're representing yourself as an individual in the conference. So there are those two types. There are two ways in which the kids can register for the conference. And that's the only age limit. Other than that, the entire screening is done on the basis of the forms that the students fill out and the preferences that they want. So we take, 2 to 3 preferences, so that if we're not able to give the kid their first preference, we try to give the second one. But there are cases where we can't, give you either because of the competition and the number of applications that we are getting. So yeah, I mean, we've tried to keep it very fair. And in case there are kids who don't have experience and they want to learn, we try to accommodate them in the beginners committee and give them the exposure of, how an MUN works.
Okay, so are there different levels? As you mentioned, there's a beginners committee, then there are people who have already done seniors into it. So what are the levels?
So there are no levels as such in the conference. It is just that the 7 committees that are going to be operating during the conference, about 5 of them are committees where usually kids with experience, register for. And there are about 2 where even if you don't have experience or you have limited experience, you can go ahead and work there. We're going to host 2 training sessions online, absolutely free of charge, to be able to also teach the kids who have no prior experience of how it's going to be like during those 3 conference days. So, to make sure that they know what to prepare for. So, I mean, that is the kind of, that is the way that we're proceeding towards the conference at the moment.
Great. Makes sense. Neharika, I'll come to you, and it's a very important question, and we address, Silverfern is actually empowering students in doing the similar thing. Now, why there is so much stress these days on for students thinking towards humanitarian, to be a humanitarian leader? Why they have to put so much effort on this? What is happening that is driving this change?
A very good question, Shefali. And I am a mother of 2. I have a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. So what I feel is that a conference like this serves as an ideal stepping stone to get them into the global arena. It works as a base for them to actually put their thoughts together. And since this world has become a global village, there is no age too young to prepare them for the future. So we are trying to come together and give them this platform, this opportunity to start thinking about world issues. Most of the topics in the committees that they will get would be problem solving, analysis or issues that they will pick up and put their thoughts together, put their minds together in trying to solve this problem. So basically, they will come with a solution which is going to be accepted by the majority of the representatives there. So they will start thinking about it and working together towards achieving that goal. So it is very important for a student to think beyond their academics, to think beyond the classrooms. Like Saurabh mentioned, we did not get the opportunity when we were young, but at the moment, the schools are thinking beyond the textbooks, and they are giving each of these young ignited minds some opportunities to solve issues, global issues, and work together and network with each other to come up with a solution which will be feasible for everybody. So it's just like a stepping stone towards solving better and bigger issues globally.
Great. And very well mentioned that, the world is becoming global village, and, classrooms are becoming bigger than the classroom itself, that brick and all. And that's the difference that I understand has been there within the generation that we are discussing, that we didn't got these opportunities because we were so much focused into the curriculums and the notebooks. The notebooks and the curriculum is still kind of similar, but now everybody is aware that there is more to learning, there is more to networking.
True.
That's where all these platforms come into picture, and thanks to Silverfern organizing these kind of conferences, empowering students. I have another question, Tanya, for you. What is the date and the venue for the event if students want to go, and what is the process? Now, I believe you have already stopped taking the new applications, right?
Right. So the dates of the conference are from 22nd to the 24th of July. It's a 3-day conference at the school campus of St. John's High School in Chandigarh. And in terms of accepting applications, like I mentioned, we're already, at a point where we have to reject kids. So officially, we're accepting applications and payments till tomorrow, which is the 5th of July for individual students. It's only for the schools who've already told us that please, reserve a slot for us, that we've kept it because the schools went on summer break, and the coordination with schools is like that you have to give them a little bit of time. But yes, I think even though we would love to have more applications, and the kids can register till tomorrow officially, at this point of time, it's just a very difficult thing for us to accommodate more kids. But yes, I mean, we did the first edition last year, it was online. It was a great experience again, and this time it's the first offline edition that we're doing at the school campus. So I'm sure it's going to be a very thrilling and exciting edition for all the participating delegates, and we would obviously definitely want to do it next year as well, and with the University of Windsor, of course. And we would love to have, I mean, of course, we'll try to raise that cap next year that we can accommodate more kids. And that's about it.
Yeah, I was about to come to this question that, a lot of students will be heartbroken, but I believe they still will have opportunity for next year, right? So if you can give a heads up that how they can go about, how they can prepare themselves for the next year in advance.
Of course. So, I mean, the applications have been out for a while. So we usually release it about 2 months prior to the conference. We put out the website gets ready, and the social media platforms get updated, and we circulate it amongst all our partners, and to put out the information of the conference. So even for this year, if somebody's still looking to register, the website, they go to the website, you go to the registration page and you register there. And even for next year, we'll put out the message on all our social media platforms. And you can also go to Silverfern's website. We have information about all our events there. And I mean, the MUN website would obviously be updated. So those are the sort of mediums through which you can find out about the conference.
Great. Thank you. And last question, it's for Neharika and Tanya, both of you, if you want to answer. And I don't know if it's right or not, but can we have a sneak peek at the agenda or what is on the plate for the students? Neharika or Tanya, anyone who's happy to take this?
Right. So the agendas of the different like every committee has a specific agenda that they sort of talk about and debate on, the students. The agendas of majority of the committees are released, but there are a couple of them that we keep classified. Those we don't release till a day prior to the conference. But the ones that are okay to be released, they're already available and out there on the websites and our social media platforms.
Okay, great. Neharika, you wanted to add something here?
Yeah, I said just wait for a while. The conference is just a few days away, so you will get to know everything. And we want a few things to be kept, as a surprise for our delegates and our participants. So we'll just wait for the conference to start, and you will see a lot of videos circulating through our social media channels just before it.
Great. So few topics are still undercover, guys. Nothing such top secret revealed here. But yeah, Tanya has
but these would
shared.
be global issues, as Tanya mentioned earlier. These would be global issues. So something current, something everybody should be thinking about at the moment.
Great. So as Tanya already mentioned that you want to participate in this conference next year, you can get yourself prepared from this year in advance. And I believe then that will increase your chances of getting inside. And of course, they're going to increase the cap as well. Now we're almost near our end of the session. And before I end of the session, I just want to understand, is there something that you want to share to the students who are watching this, any message that you want to pass on? Neharika, I'll start with you.
I think it's a great platform and a great initiative, something out of the box that Silverfern has come up with. And we were, as Saurabh mentioned, we were all excited to participate in. So kudos to them for thinking about such an initiative, which is very different from our normal day-to-day routines. And it will be a good platform for these young minds to come together, think about global issues, think about solving these global issues, networking with everybody who will be coming from all across South Asia, I think, right, Tanya? You have opened the participation to people from across South Asia. So it will be a great international conference good value addition to whatever academics they are doing. So looking forward to some great interactions and thought-provoking sessions in the MUN this July.
Great. In fact, I'm also thinking it would be amazing to participate or at least join them as an audience, because I still remember the debate teams that I used to done, in my college days, and they were amazing. Now, Tanya, any golden words from your side or any 2 cent of, suggestion for the students?
Like, just to add on to what Neharika ma'am said, I mean, as an overseas recruitment company, we have always wanted to sort of undertake things in a very unconventional way, develop events and these signature events with the schools that we work with, to sort of give them the understanding of how holistic development works, how they're supposed to be prepared as individuals for an international education forward, and how all these skills, getting that exposure is extremely important. So that is how the idea of the St. John's MUN had come up, and we associated with the University of Windsor for the event. So that's the whole idea, that for all the kids who are participating or wanting to participate, it's important for them to get out of their comfort zone and take part in events like these, because it does give them the right exposure and makes them understand how it works. I mean, other than them figuring out how the UN works, like the model UN, it just gives you a lot of confidence. It tells you a lot about public speaking. You interact with so many kids. I mean, 500 kids together on campus from different schools across India. It's a great opportunity to sort of form connections with all of them. They'll get to meet. We'll have Neharika ma'am coming down for the conference, and some representatives from Canada as well, from the university. So they'll get to interact with them. So it's just going to be a great opportunity, great exposure for the kids during those 3 days.
Great. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today here. And on this note, the note is that comfort is actually not going to take you anywhere, whether you're joining this MUN conference or whether you're going for international, study abroad destination or anywhere, whether you're studying in India as well. Comfort is not going to take you anywhere. Come out of your comfort zone, look for a global experience, and these kind of platforms and these kind of conferences are their, your gateway to these experiences. So don't miss out on the conference and keep on checking. On this note, we'll be closing our session. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you found it useful. Looking forward to seeing you guys next Friday at 5 p.m. Stay tuned to our social media channels. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.